Welcome to part 2 of Imagining the Woven Community. Jennie and I are continuing our conversation from episode 6. So if you haven't heard that one yet, go back and listen. If not, let's get back to dreaming about the woven community.
And then as needs approach, to go back to your example at the very beginning, as needs approach within this community, like, what if we didn't start like, hey, here's a 6 or 9 or 12 week like nutrition cohort that Jennie's going to lead. And then, here's something spiritual that Brendon's going to lead or whatever.
Yeah.
Almost, how about this? As we start to build this community, we could almost like get the sense of where the community is leading and then offer that next.
I like
that kind of cohort, group, coaching, whatever it is next, whether it's going to be a group, whether someone really needs help one-on-one, like we could offer those things.
Yes. I like that because in a way that's organic and it's led together, so to speak. And it's very much the way I coach, and I think you possibly coach too, is like the sessions I have one-on-one with clients is really led by them.
Yes.
I'm not going in with an agenda and a certain topic.
Spot on.
It's opening up your heart, and where maybe you're struggling in a certain area that maybe doesn't even apply to nutrition, but that's what we're supposed to do. It doesn't. We're going to meet you where you're at, right?
Oh, exactly. I had this conversation with my coach yesterday. Actually, we finished it up this morning. But we're talking about a couple different like tools that we use within our coaching to help people. And I was like, I'm curious, like, how do you know when to use each? Like, do you plan before your session with the client, like, oh, I really want to use this tool. I think this will be really helpful. And he's like, nope. He's like, I typically don't plan that ahead. He's like, in the middle of a session, if I think I might want to try something, I'll try it. He's like, but here's the key. And I thought this was beautiful. He's like, here's the key. I don't have to be right. I could try a tool, a technique, and not be caught up in it being the right tool or technique and the right outcome. I could try it. And if it works, that's fantastic. We have a new breakthrough, a new idea. But if it doesn't work, that's great too. Just check that one off the list. Didn't work right now, or it might land later. I thought that was so beautiful. Talk about the true coaching, the organic nature of true coaching. It's leading each other home. Like, we're trying a couple different things as coaches to see what sticks and fits, as opposed to trying to take this person, this client, and just fit them as hard as we can into this framework that we use. Like, this is our framework. This is how it works. You have to get and understand this. No, not at all. And that's such a coaching guru thing right now, is you have to be an expert with a framework.
Yes.
And then people have to fit into that framework. And the terrible thing about that is if someone partakes in that as a client and it's not clicking for them, it's somehow their fault that they're not getting it or they're not putting in the work. And that's just terribly, terribly sad that people are coming to this person for help. And if they don't fit into their framework, it's because they're the odd shape.
Right.
That just makes me so sad.
Well, and that goes against, I think, your real heart is for that person who maybe doesn't fit the framework from the beginning.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The underdog, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, the underdog. Yeah.
That person that maybe hasn't, status quo.
Yeah.
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 As you were talking to about that, I have maybe, like you're saying, I have an idea of maybe something that I think would help a client, but I really want it to be held loosely. And I think, and I might have mentioned this, like, I think intrinsically, what is inside us, and that needs to maybe be brought up or looked at, or even the answer. And I think one of the things you and I do is allow the space for that to expand and to happen, which is exactly what we're talking about with our community. I love the idea of letting the community decide by their request or comments
Mm-hmm.
what would serve them best, right?
Yep.
That's what makes me the happiest, is serving others, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that to the
Yes.
in the way that is the most beneficial. It's not about me or you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
about us together serving. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. That's 100% it. It's us together serving. And
Mm-hmm.
my home church is doing every year we kick off a new, like, read through the Bible in a year plan together.
Oh, uh-huh.
But this time it's just New Testament. So it's much slower, right? We only do little chunks at a time instead of big chunks to try to get through the whole stinking Bible. It's little chunks to get through the New Testament. And without going down a crazy stupid rabbit hole about the different number of translations and versions of the Bible, I said this time, instead of trying to be nerdy and academic, which I have been in my previous ventures, I want to listen to the most poetic, modern, non-academic version of the Bible I can, just to get it from a little bit of a different perspective. So I'm a huge fan of this guy, Eugene Peterson. He's wonderfully poetic as a writer. He encourages me to be poetic. And he wrote The Message. And so I'm just going to listen to it in The Message. And it has beautifully come alive for me this time in a way that it never has. And the one thing I've been getting as I've been going through the Gospels, and I think we're just about to finish Luke, is just the servant nature of this kingdom that Jesus came proclaiming. And how in Luke's gospel, they refer to it all the time as the upside down gospel, where it's not like these elite religious socialites who run the thing. It's the outcast, the downtrodden, the forgotten. And even in that society, like the woman, the widow, the sick, the poor, it's those people that Jesus preaches the good news to and offers, like, almost first and foremost, like, no, the good news is for these people. And as I'm kind of sitting back throughout these past couple weeks, listening to this over and over again, I'm like, how come my coaching and my business doesn't look more like that? And I was really, really convicted about that. And it's funny, I got a request yesterday from someone about coaching. And they were honest in their little email to me about why they want coaching, like they're struggling with this, that, and the other. And one of the things they said they're like, I'm this many years old, I'm unemployed, and I live at home. And weeks ago, an alarm would have went off in my head saying, how could they possibly pay for coaching? This might not be a client. And then I almost caught myself. I read that line in the email and my eyes slowed down and I almost caught my brain going there. I said, but wait a minute, hold on. Brendon, this is the upside down kingdom. You're supposed to be about the underdog. You're supposed to be about a redemption story. Like, how dare you pass this judgment based on one line in an email they sent asking about coaching? But I think my old self would have said, I'm not sure how qualified this person is. I'm not sure if they could pay my high rates. Like, get out of here, man. Like, my coaching needs to look more like what the Gospels were talked about and less like what some marketing or business guru told me it should look like, and why I should command those high fees, and why I owe it to myself and even owe it to my clients to command, these insanely high fees, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a time and a place for that. I think you totally can. But I got so caught up in that, I think I would have overlooked this person. Now I can't wait to talk to him. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
And talk to them and come at them from the angle of, what's the redemption story here? What, God, show me what I could see and what you can see in this person that they don't yet see in themselves. And now I'm like all excited to talk to this person. All excited.
Oh, that's
So.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that's
Well,
a little bit of a tangent, but I think still very appropriate.
right. Well, we're talking about, we're dreaming about,
Yeah.
right? What do we want our community to look like? What do we want it to be characterized by? Like an attitude of service,
Yes.
right? And
100%. You nailed it. Yep.
powerfully
Yep.
serving. I think I've said it before. Like, there's no other kind of, I guess, emotional high I feel after I know I have helped somebody, right?
Yeah.
Through
yeah.
my coaching or through my listening. It's like, and I used to have this mentor who would tell me, she would say, every time you tell your kids that you love them, you're actually saying it back to yourself.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so in a way, what you just talked about is serving, someone who may not fit the profile of ideal. It's like you're serving by loving that person, and in that same way you're loving yourself. Those parts of you that don't maybe fit the quote unquote, ideal person.
That's good, coach.
Thanks.
That's so good.
I just think that what we want to offer is much deeper and greater, and comes from a place of service and powerfully serving.
Yeah.
And in return, we get so much more.
We do. We totally do. I love I'm be chewing on that all night now.
All right, there you go.
That's Coach, that's really good. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I've had some beautiful mentors in my life who have, goodness gracious, it's like, they drop these beautiful sentiments on me, and I'm like, yeah. And it's almost like years later, it's sinking in. It's still working, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's exceptionally cool.
And it's the ripples. I was going to mention the ripples. I had that mentor pour into me.
Yep.
And hopefully I can just keep rippling it out.
This is a perfect example of that. That mentor poured into you. You just shared that with me, and that statement has profoundly impacted me right now in this moment.
Right.
And it's something I'm going to chew over, especially with my children, like the way you put it in that example. And I could also think about that with my clients, with, the softball team I coach. Yeah. Every time I show this person, every time I validate this person and show them what I see in them, the greatness I see in them, in a way that kind of is, saying that and seeing that in myself too, which I need. So this is great. Oh, this is so good. Which I think I need. One of the things I'm talking about now with my coach is the idea of identity and how identity and self-worth, how very often we don't have a sense of our own identity, who we truly are, who we're truly made to be. And as such, our self-worth really, really suffers. And it just so happens that, we're having a conversation around that. And I'm like, gosh, it's one of the first things I would love to tackle with this community is the idea of identity and self-worth.
Wow.
Because, yeah, right. Because I think, again, think about the different areas that we hold some experience or some wisdom or some expertise in: nutrition, physical fitness, emotional health, life coaching, spiritual coaching. True in any one of those things is if we don't have a sense of self-worth, if we don't have a picture of our identity now and who we're supposed to be in the future, it's difficult for us to not only invest in ourselves, but to really fight for ourselves.
Yeah.
One of the things my coach tells me, and I think I've told this to you, is we don't fight for what we don't value. Or another way of saying that is sometimes the flip side is we fight for our limitations. Which would let me as a coach know that you value your excuses and your limitations more than you value yourself. So like that's one of the topics I would love to start talking about with people, right off the bat. We have a book club idea we have going, we have nutrition going, but talking about identity and self-worth, because, and I think this is true for a lot of people, and I think it's been true in my life in the past, but the reason people sometimes jump from program to program or coach to coach or diet to diet or, whatever, it's not because that methodology or that program or that coach or that diet didn't work. It's that the real value of sticking to it because you value yourself and you know your identity, that isn't there. And if that isn't there, you're going to keep trying other things. You might see results, but they'll be temporary, because if you don't value yourself, you're not going to fight for that. You're not going to fight for that.
So true.
So it's almost like without that foundation, even if you're not there yet, right? But if you don't have at least an understanding that, I need to fight for myself. I'm still trying to wrestle with my identity. I don't know what it is yet, but I know what it's not. I know I'm not worthless. I know I'm not a throwaway. I know I'm not a mistake. I know that much now. Without that sort of basic understanding, it's hard to excel in any other category, because you'll eventually either quit or sabotage yourself.
I was going to say self-sabotage for sure.
Yep. Nailed it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, you're not asking me, but I think you should, and maybe you're already doing this, keeping a running tab of the things you would want to talk about. And yeah. Are you?
Nope, but I'm going to start. I've had a mental list this week. I've had a mental list this week.
Yeah.
Because we're on vacation, so I have a little bit more time to kind of relax and just think. And I'm not a beach person. I'm not. I'd rather be in the mountains or the forest. But there's something about walking along the beach. Like you talked about getting inspired, getting good ideas when you drive. I do that too. Yeah. But a walk along the beach, like so much inspiration hits. I think it's because looking out over the magnitude of the ocean, that makes me feel so finite. Makes me feel so small. And I'm like, I'll look at the grains of sand beneath my toes and I'll look down miles of beach line. Like, that's a lot of sand. It really it really puts my finite existence into perspective and gives me a sense of awe and wonder. I think that's when a lot of good ideas hit. So, I've kind of started a mental list. So I'm definitely going to start jotting these things down afterwards. So, by the time this podcast is published, Jenny and I will have that home base set up.
Yes.
Whether it's like so there'll be some place for you, the listener, to go to say, whatever crazy thing it is you guys are up to, I want to be along with this. I want to help lead each other home together. And you can click the link in the bio or description or whatever down below, and you could say, can I join your crazy club? And we'll be like, yeah, come on in.
Of course. Yes.
We don't know what we're doing yet, but come on and make yourself at home. Let's figure it out together.
Yeah. Yes. I think that sounds awesome.
I think so too. So really, it's just a matter of you and I figuring out what sort of technology and platform we're comfortable with. And then we could even have some initiatives, like even from a book club perspective, that would be easy enough to start. But we could have some ideas, some initiatives already going. And then as our community builds, we can really start to listen, engage with people and listen to them and say, hey, enough of you have said that you have questions about, or you struggle about, or you want to get better at.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. Hop on in.
That'd be
And
awesome.
we can start serving people that way. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. It would feel like we're really, instead of talking, which I absolutely love, then we're actually combining our talking with action.
Yeah.
Which would
Oh, and wouldn't it be cool, depending on the sort of interactions we have, wouldn't it be cool to maybe bring some members of our community on the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
And we could either like have a coaching session with them, or like they could talk about their journey. That would be cool.
That'd be really good.
That would be really good.
You got to write
like
it down.
Well, the great thing is this is a podcast. We can go back and listen to this and write down all of our things.
True. All of our beautiful insights.
But I am so with you. I love what you said, that this is going to be based around serving people as best we can, as opposed to coming up with this as a business plan and looking at people as human beings instead of economic markers. I think that'll be huge.
I agree.
And we could, instead of dollars and cents, we can measure our impact through service and love.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. We got to write that down. Write that down. I'm getting real bossy today.
That's good. That's good. I mean, that's what I think. I like, a laborer is worth their wages. So like, will there be opportunities for, you and I to earn a living or a partial living doing this? Probably, maybe, but that's not, I don't think, what we're going after. I almost see this as like, part of it could almost be like, maybe it's set up like as a nonprofit. Maybe people just donate what they see as fit. I don't know. Yeah. Nothing at all. It could be nothing at all. You could just partake. We're here to serve. I don't know.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that too, this is another thing that same mentor would tell me all the time, is more will be revealed. More will be revealed. Yeah. We don't have to have all the answers right now or today. And every time, every time she would tell me that, it was a time in my life when I really wanted the answers. And I really wanted her to tell me what to do to make my life better. And she would never give me the answers. She would say, more will be revealed. And in my heart of hearts, it made me real mad. Because it was, she was leaving me in that uncomfortable place of not knowing. But yet it was comfortable because it was a place where I didn't have to fix or do or come up with the greatest answer. I just had to relax.
Yep. Yeah. And isn't truth so much more valuable and amazing when you discover it as opposed to someone giving it to you?
Yeah. True.
So will we be able to make a living doing this? Maybe. More will be revealed. But right now, let's just keep that servant's mindset, and see what happens.
Yep. Agreed.
This is cool.
Yeah.
I like what's happening.
Yes.
Whatever it is, I think I want to close the loop on this. I think whatever it is, I just don't want people to be shut out or turned away from the community and our service and the community service because of their inability to pay some or anything. I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want to look at someone and say, he just can't afford it. Well, sorry. Right. Here's somewhere else you might want to go, or something else you might want to try. I don't want that. I truly don't want that. I want to be able to serve people. But and then the other side of that coin is, we're human and our capacity and our energies are limited. So I also have to protect that too. It's tough.
Yes.
This is a dichotomy. It's really difficult. It really is. But yeah, I'm going to focus on serving. I think that's, as long as that's the first focus, I think it'll be difficult to go wrong.
Agreed. Right? That's the life-giving thing about, serving.
Yep.
Gives life. Yeah.
That's good. Wow. All the tech struggles seem to be worth it now.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
More was revealed.
More was revealed. And I think maybe you were, and I was like, well, maybe we don't do this today, but we did it. It got worked out. It got worked out.
I definitely pause and all right, am I supposed to persevere through this?
Right.
Or am I supposed to say, nope, this isn't the right time? I was like, where's my wisdom here? I was praying, where's my wisdom? Someone once told me, knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing you don't put it in fruit salad. I'm like, do I make fruit salad right now?
You force it. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that.
But I'm glad this came to me. This is going to be really, really good. And I had to record this on my phone. It's like I couldn't get my laptop to work and the setup to work. So this has been recorded on my end on my phone. So we'll see how it comes out. I have no clue.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows?
Brilliant.
Okay.
All right. I think that's good for today.
I agree.
Brilliant.
Okay.
All right. So whatever it is we decided, there'll be something in the description below. So if you want to come along on this crazy journey, just check out the description. The link is there. And come on. You're going to help, especially you folks who are doing this early on, listening to this early on. You're really going to have a role in critically shaping how this community looks and acts. You really, really will. So if you don't have any idea, don't worry. We're not 100% sure either. We'll lead each other home. I really like that, Jenny. I really do. You know what else I like?
Okay, I have to.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You like tapestry?
I was going to go there.
No, but okay. I have to claim that lead each other home is not my own. That's Anne Lamott. If you guys know her, she's an incredible author. And that was one theme of one of her books. I wish I could know the title right now, but that is me borrowing from her. That's her beautiful sentiment. So just so you know, it's not mine.
We all borrow from somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome.
We'll talk soon.
Okay.